Now, left out and left behind, the number of young people who aren't in any kind of job or education has gone up over the last few months, according to new figures. The number of 16 to 24-year-olds not in education, employment or training, known as NEETs, now stands at 948,000 from April to June this year. That is up by 24,000 from the figure recorded between January to March. The number of young women classed as NEET is up, while there were 1,000 fewer young men. But an estimated 13% of men are out of work or training, and 12% of women. The government says it's spending another £45 million on trying to get young people back into education or work. Well, just before the figures were released, our correspondent Francis Reid spoke to the Secretary for Work and Pensions, Liz Kendall, about why things are still going so wrong.
What happens in early life can echo down the years. Job prospects, earnings, health, ultimately young people's futures. After GCSEs is a pivotal moment, with the numbers of young people falling out of the system altogether creeping closer to 1 million.
Hello, I'm Liz.
Before the figures came out, the Work and Pensions Secretary met young people on apprenticeships previously in the care system. And it's precisely this topic that the government has been keen to take ownership of. And yet, the figures just aren't going in the right direction.
Given what the figures have generally shown, is it not time for dramatic root and branch reform?
Absolutely. And that's what we're delivering. It is not acceptable that 1 in 8 of our young people are not in education, employment or training. It is terrible for them in terms of their future jobs, their future earnings, their future health and well-being. And it's terrible for the country.
What a lot of young people tell us, though, is it's the speed. It's not happening fast enough. So what are you doing about that?
They're impatient, you know. Young people are always impatient, and rightly so. And so am I. And I am going to put my foot on the pedal and accelerate as hard as I can here, because you have one life and we need to provide them a second chance, often a first chance. You know, if school wasn't right for you, you need another chance to get on that ladder of skills.
But business groups like the British Retail Consortium told us today it's Labour's decision to raise employer national insurance contributions that's reduced the number of staff employers can take on.
Has your own government's policies damaged those efforts, though? Because many employers are citing the rise in national insurance contributions, for example.
Well, let's not forget that employers don't pay national insurance contributions on young people under 21 unless and until they earn over £50,000 a year. And I think a lot of young people would absolutely love to earn that much money. But we're doing a whole host of things to actually help employers.
We have noticed there's just a general lack of hope across the board. There is the perfect storm for young people. So it's the economic environment, it's the education gaps, it's the mental health challenges, the social inequalities.
I mean, young people always say to me, you can't get a job because you haven't got the experience, and you can't get the experience. You know, we need to solve that, because we believe that if those young people get the work experience, the employers see what they're like, it can really open those doors.
For young people who are care experienced, they get to age 17 and things start becoming very, very scary, because they know at 18 they're going to fall off a care cliff, their finances could be taken away, the support's taken away.
Care leavers are 3 times as likely to be not in education, employment or training. I don't think that's acceptable. Actually, it's really important for young care leavers, but actually all young people, that we intervene as early as possible.
How big a blow was it for you to drop such a significant element of the benefits bill? And did you consider your position at that time as well?
Well, it was, you know, it's been a bumpy old few months. I think some of that is maybe inevitable. Welfare reform is always really hard, perhaps especially for the Labour Party. Let me just say this. As more of us are living for longer, more of us have disabilities, more of us have long-term health conditions, we need to change the system to help more people when they can work and protect those who can't. And that won't change.
Although sometimes it is these constant changes to the benefit system that actually increases this sense of hopelessness. So I would just add that You've done this job for a year now.
Yeah.
Is it realistic to think in the time you've got, you can make the changes you need? And what are the consequences if you don't?
I've got to. Not for me or for the government, but for those young people who are desperate for a chance. But too many people have been denied the chances and choices they deserve. And every day, that's what I'm going to try and deliver.
And if you can't?
I do not contemplate failure.
Liz Kendall, thank you very much.